Hi, wake up. I'm trying to learn history. Today the Trojan Wars. And after we've done that, we're going to do arm strength training. And if you participate in the arm strength training, then it's better harmless. From 1600 until 1100 before Christ, mainland Greek was dominated by tough warrior people called the Mycenaeans. Okay, for 500 years, starting 3600 years ago, Greek, which is in southeastern Europe, was dominated by the Mycenaeans. The Mycenaeans fought with long bronze swords, long leather shields, and bronze armor. Okay, it was the bronze time. They had bronze swords and armor, and they had shields out of long leather. Mycenaeans lived in small kingdoms, each with its own fortified hilltop city called an Acropolis. Okay. The Mycenaeans, they were dominating Greek, but the Greek was split up in multiple kingdoms. And there the people were living in fortified hilltops, and they were called Acropolis. A typical Mycenaean noble was like a Viking chieftain. In the middle of his palace was a great hall with a central fireplace where warriors would sit around telling tales of heroic deeds. Okay. Maybe you couldn't say something of it, but maybe you're just gonna say later a little bit. Okay, maybe I need to find the words how to start to tell what it is, but I could say it, and then there were a great hall with a central fireplace, and people were sitting around it and talking with each other. After 1500 before Christ, so 100 years into the domination of Greek through the Mycenaeans. Mycenaean kings were buried in a beehive-shaped tomb called the Pholos with a long corridor-shaped entrance. Okay, they mean the bee-shaped, the way bees are having, but they're completely different types of bees. I'm wondering, are 5 or 6 things? I don't know right now. I think it are 5. Whatever. They were in beehive, or hive, the nest of bees, shaped tombs, and they were called the Pholos. And there were kings buried. They had a long and a corridor-shaped entrance. The Greek poet Homer tells how a city called Troy was destroyed by the Mycenaeans after a 10-year siege. Yes, we're talking about a war, I've got to say. We're talking about a war. The Trojan Wars. Historians once thought this was just a story, but now that Troy's remains have been discovered, they think there may be some truth in it. What they're saying is, Homer was a poet, someone who wrote stories, and he wrote a big book about the Trojan Wars. And over a long time it was thought that maybe it's completely an invention, but when people found more evidence that at least Troy existed, probably, and also some proof of wars led about Troy. And now it could be that the stories written by Homer don't have at least a bit truth in it. Troy fell when the Greek pretended to give up and go home, leaving behind a huge wooden horse. The jubilant Trojans dragged this into the city, only to discover Greeks hiding inside them. That is a very famous story of a Trojan horse, told by Homer, if it's completely true or not. The story goes that, what is basically written here, they left, the besieging army left with the boats, and left the wooden horse there, and the people believe, and that's the story, that it was a gift of the gods, and so they dragged the horse into the town, because they thought the besieging people had left, and now we have that gift of the gods, and brought in the city. But the story tells that when in the night, the hidden soldiers inside of the Trojan horse climbed out of them, and opened the gates, and the army was returning with the ships, and they won against the Trojan. The Trojan War lasted for 10 bloody years. Many lives were lost during battles, even though the soldiers were was prepared to read that sentence. Many lives were lost during battles, even though the soldiers wore protective armor. Achilles and Hector would have worn crested helmets like those shown here. Some type of helmet with something on top of it that seems to be called crested helmet, whatever. To make them look more frightening and impressive. A bronze breastplate would have protected the upper body, while bronze leg guards were worn to protect the lower legs. Okay, armor. Bronze breastplate and also the legs. Or the bronze. The Trojan War in Homer's tale is caused by the beautiful Helen of Sparta. She married Menelaus, brother of King Agamemnon of Mycenae, but she fell in love with Prince Paris of Troy. Helen and Paris eloped to Troy. No, I still don't know what the word elope means. I read text about someone being eloped with someone. No, I don't know what it means, so I'm not sure if they're telling the same story about the Trojan War as I know it. Helen and Paris eloped to Troy, and Agamemnon and other Greeks laid siege to Troy to take her back. So, Helen was married or promised to Agamemnon, but she went together with Paris, the prince of Troy, to Troy, and that enraged Agamemnon, with whom she was married or whatever. And now Agamemnon, the leader of the Mycenaeans, whatever, started to besiege Troy, where Helen and Paris and the other. Helen and Paris eloped to Troy, and Agamemnon and other Greeks laid siege to Troy to take her back. The battle featured many heroes, such as Hector, Achilles, and Odysseus. In Homer's story told, there are different characters, and one of them is, for example, Hector. Hector is a fighter of Troy, or Achilles, he's a fighter of a besieging army, or Odysseus. He's also a person of a besieging army. And we have it in the previous part, Odysseus and the Odyssey. It goes on with Odysseus, with its travel back after the Trojan Wars had ended, where he encounters lots of adventures while he travels back. The Greeks finally captured Troy when Greek soldiers hidden inside a wooden horse found their way into the city. Okay, now, I haven't thought about it. I did that part because it's mentioned in the next part I saw it. In the Aeneid. The Aeneid is an epic poem that follows the adventures of a Trojan prince. I wanted to do this 2 pages to come up to date with what is written in that book here. So we're technically able to do a presentation right now about what we learned here, but we're over time and we're going to do it later, I think. I think we're going to do it later. So that means we're going to do a second part to the Trojan Wars, where we try to make a presentation and tell basically what we learned about the Trojan Wars in this book here. And later on we will then do a part about the Aeneid and a part about the Odysseus and the Odyssey. But for now, if you were here for history for the Trojan Wars, you can go directly to the next part of history of the Trojan Wars. We will do now. Maybe we're going to do the Odysseus not in history. And also the Aeneid not. Whatever, we're going to do the Trojan Wars in history. If you were here for history, you can go directly to the next part of history. If you are here for the extensor copy on our strength training, then you can participate. But if you participate in this video, and this is not extensor copy on our strength training, this is arm strength training. So we're doing what? No warm up, we're starting directly. No, but a few rules are important. The first one is if there's pain, stop immediately. The second rule is get only as far as you can go with a little bit of effort, in this case a bit more because it's strength training. And meant this with exercise if the ankle is bad. So no pain, and go on as fast as it goes with a little bit of effort, and don't overdo it. We want not to exhaust, strength, not completely exhaust. And very important, if you feel pain at the fingers, then stop immediately. And first exercise, we're doing the pro. So turn up and press the fingertips together. And again, if there's any pain at the wrists or the fingers, then stop immediately. And if you participate in this video, honest. And have a little bend in the elbows. And if there's pain, also but it's basically all. So the stars. And we're going on with the next exercise. Now it's pro. Long arms and stretch your fingers and press your fingers against each other, but not completely straight arms. Have a little bend in the elbow. And if you have pain at the elbows, then rather do a star again. So if there's pain anywhere, then no, stop, don't do a star, stop. And to the next exercise. Now press with the forefingers into the finals, into the final and the hypofiner, like that. And press. And then give slowly in. No, if your ankle causes pain or something, stop. And on the other side. Press. And give slowly in. The arm on top is stronger. And another time, press. Give slowly in. And again, press. And give slowly. And another time with each arm. Press. And give slowly in. And again. Press. And give slowly in. And to the next exercise. Now press from the top. Give again slowly in. And on the other side. Press. And give slowly. And again. Press. And give slowly. Again. And the last time of each arm. Press. And give slowly. Again. And for the last exercise, arm out. Press again into the finals. And give slowly in. On the other side. Press. And give slowly in. Again. And again. And the last time of each arm. And with the other one. And now the mise en masse. Ending with just stretching arms to the side with flattening arms, circle in front and circle back. And now long arms. Stretch the fingers a bit to the side, to the ends, and that was. And now go with moderate pressure over the middle part of the lower arm, the below. And on the other side. And now move the arms up. Forward, and in. Out, and last time again. And out. Now, that was the arm strength training. I thank you very much, and until next time.